I stepped off the plane with that soft, heavy relief that follows 2 weeks of perfect escape. Temples, street food, miles of white sand. Thailand had scrubbed the raw edges off my consulting life and the petty theater of Pinterest estates. All I wanted was my own bed and 8 uninterrupted hours to kill jet lag. But when my Uber turned into my street, something felt off. A police cruiser idled in my driveway. My chest tightened. Had someone broken in while I was gone? I dragged my suitcase up the walk and saw a family on my porch, talking to officers like they belonged there. A man, a woman and 2 kids, settling into a life that wasn't mine. The woman waved a ring of keys, and one of those keys glinted like my house key. "Excuse me," I said, stepping past the patrol car. "What's going on here? This is my house." The officers swiveled toward me, faces shuttered with suspicion. "Sir, these homeowners called us. They say someone was trying to break into their home. Can I see ID?" I fumbled for my passport, stomach sinking. "This is a mistake. I've lived here 6 years. I just got back from vacation." The man on the porch stared at me, equally bewildered. "We bought the place 2 weeks ago," he said. "We moved in yesterday. We have the deed, the paperwork." My heart dropped. That couldn't be right. I peered through the window and felt my mouth go dry. All my furniture was gone. The walls were bare of photos. My rugs, my books, everything vanished. In their place were new couches, a mismatched dining table, and taped-up moving boxes. Strangers' lives were staged where mine used to be. A female officer, stern, hand hovering near her holster, stepped forward. "Sir, please step back. They have documentation showing ownership." "This is insane," I said, louder than I meant to. "I have mortgage statements, tax records, everything's on my phone. I can prove this is my house." I scrolled frantically through emails while the family shrank inward, the kids clinging to their mother. The officers listened, but their expressions were procedural and distant. I felt like a trespasser in my own life. I ran through the last things I'd done before the trip. Mortgage set to autodraft, mail held at the post office, a landscaping service hired to mow the lawn. The only loose thread was the latest petty notice from Karen Wilkinson, the HOA president, the woman who had been a daily annoyance since I moved into Pinterest Estates. Mid-50s, icy blonde bob, clipboard permanently attached to her hands. She patrolled the blocks like a sergeant, policing mailbox colors and grass heights. She'd written me an absurd complaint about my mailbox being charcoal instead of the HOA-approved slate gray. I'd ignored it, thinking I'd deal with Karen after vacation. Now, as I stood on my driveway breathing panic, a spotless white SUV pulled up. Karen alighted, perfectly coiffed and carrying that same clipboard like a banner. A smug smile split her face when she saw me. "Officers," she called, striding over. "Looks like our neighborhood intruder has returned. As I told you earlier, this man abandoned the property months ago. The HO had to step in." "I left for 2 weeks," I snapped. "Not months." Karen's expression sharpened. "The board has documentation. The property was vacant, HOA fees unpaid for 6 months. We followed procedure. Lien, sale to recover costs." Felt like a bad joke. I had never missed a payment. The officers exchanged looks, uncertain, trapped by paperwork. They advised I contact an attorney and handle it through the courts. Over the next 48 hours everything blurred. A hotel room, phone calls, the dizzying scramble to find a lawyer who could take me right away. When I finally reached Jessica Ramirez, she listened, face growing darker as I told her about Karen and the long trail of petty harassment. "This is fraud," Jessica said flatly, tapping her pen against her legal pad. "We need to move fast. If a deed transfer's already been filed, every hour matters." She wasted no time. Together we pulled evidence. My bank statements proving HOA payments were current, my flight itinerary showing I'd only been gone 2 weeks, even emails from neighbors who'd seen me at home right up until I left. Jessica filed immediate requests with the county clerk for every document tied to the supposed sale. What came back was worse than anything I imagined. Paperwork claimed I had abandoned my home and racked up over $15,000 in unpaid dues and fines. There were forged certified letters, fabricated inspection reports, and even a fake auction notice. The entire trail pointed straight to Karen Wilkinson and her HOA board. Then Jessica suggested digging into other recent sales in the neighborhood, and that's when the bigger picture emerged. 2 other homes had been sold under the same suspicious lien process in the past year. One owner had been deployed overseas. Another was out of state caring for a sick parent. Both gone just long enough to be vulnerable. She's been targeting people who can't fight back, I said, seething. This isn't just harassment anymore. It's organized crime. The breaking point came when we traced the sales back to a real estate company. The broker handling them, Karen's sister-in-law. Subpoenaed emails revealed Karen openly discussing her next opportunity. My house, once she learned I'd stopped my mail and booked a flight. Armed with evidence, Jessica went to the district attorney. At first, they brushed it off as a civil matter. But once she laid out the pattern of fraud, multiple homes, forged records, and financial kickbacks, the DA recognized it for what it was: a criminal conspiracy. Momentum built when we tipped off a local news station. The reporter smelled a story and ran with it. The exposé painted Karen as the tyrant of Pinehurst Estates, using the HOA as her personal racket, intimidating board members, funneling contracts to friends, and lining her pockets. The segment aired on a Thursday night. By Friday morning, my phone wouldn't stop ringing. Neighbors I barely knew were sharing their own stories of intimidation. Even more damning, a former HOA treasurer came forward with proof that Karen had been embezzling from association funds for years. Police finally moved. A search warrant turned up files in Karen's home and the HOA office. Dossiers on homeowners, their travel schedules, financial details, even a target list of valuable properties owned by frequent travelers. The family who had unknowingly bought my house was crushed to learn they were victims of a scam. Thankfully, the court voided the fraudulent sale, and the HOA's insurance fund would cover their losses. I was cleared to move back in, though much of my life, my belongings, my keepsakes, had already been sold off or trashed. Karen's downfall came in spectacular fashion. In the middle of an HOA meeting, as she tried to rally support and deny everything, uniformed officers walked in and cut her off mid-sentence. Phones came out as neighbors filmed her being handcuffed in front of the community she'd terrorized for years. "This is outrageous," she shrieked as they led her away. "I was protecting property values. You should be thanking me." No one thanked her. Days later, prosecutors filed a barrage of charges: fraud, forgery, conspiracy, grand theft, money laundering. Maximum penalties of 25 years in prison and over $1 million in fines. Karen's mask of perfection finally cracked at her arraignment. The judge denied bail, calling her a flight risk and citing the scope of the scheme. Her carefully composed image dissolved in seconds, sobbing, makeup running, shackled in an orange jumpsuit instead of her trademark pearls and tailored blazers. Her reign was over.